Welcome back to the deep dive. We are continuing our look into joyful living by really zeroing in on the 5 stages of Bhakti Yoga that Lord Krishna lays out in chapter 12.
And we're tackling them in reverse order, which is such a fascinating approach. You start with the highest possible path.
The idea being that you only opt for a lower stage if you're not quite ready for the higher one.
Exactly. It's not a rigid hierarchy so much as a set of psychological tools, tailored to your current mental strength.
So we've already covered the deep knowledge of stage 5 and that constant universal devotion of stage 4. Today, we are focusing completely on stage 3. It's called Upāsanā.
Right, Upāsanā. And it's so important to ask, why does this stage even exist? It's there because stage 4 is, frankly, overwhelmingly difficult for most people. It certainly was for Arjuna.
It sounds exhausting, seeing God in everything all the time.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, think about a simple everyday annoyance. Your neighbor parks their car badly and blocks you in.
Okay, yeah.
Can you, in that moment of frustration, truly see that action and that person as a manifestation of the divine?
Probably not. My first thought wouldn't be very divine, I can tell you that.
And that's the point. If your mind is still so strongly pulled by likes and dislikes, you just don't have the mental energy for that kind of constant universal God consciousness.
So Upāsanā is the intervention. It's the practical step.
It's the brilliant practical solution. You choose a personal God, a desirable form of God that you can focus on.
And what's amazing is the flexibility here. It's not constrained by a specific name or form or even a religion.
Not at all. The whole point is to find an anchor, something manageable that resonates with you emotionally.
But here's something that I found really interesting. The text says devotees in this stage treat their personal God as the only God. Doesn't that sort of create rigidity, maybe even conflict?
It sounds like it, but it's actually a necessary temporary scaffolding. That exclusivity is what gives the practice its structure.
So that's why worship becomes about a specific time, a specific place, like the temple is where God resides.
Exactly. It contains the practice and stabilizes the mind. And crucially, it allows for a real emotional relationship.
You mean you can bring your whole self to it, not just the, pious and proper parts?
All of it. The personal God is treated almost like a family member. You can show anger, ask for comfort, confess your mistakes. You pray for good qualities, sure, but also for material prosperity, for boons. It's a full relationship.
So before you can even start this, what's the minimum requirement? What do you need to bring to the table?
There are really 2 qualifications. First, God has to rank among your top priorities. Your spiritual pursuit has to genuinely matter more than your material one.
And the second?
You need the basic ability to concentrate, to actually focus your mind on that personal God during your worship.
And then the practice itself builds on that initial ability. I saw there was a clear progression.
A very clear sequential process. You start by chanting a name loudly, maybe in a group. Then you progress to chanting softly, alone.
Until it becomes completely internal.
Purely mental, no physical action at all. The focus is entirely within.
And what's the ultimate payoff of all this structure and repetition?
Well, the ultimate benefit is that the mind matures. Through this prolonged practice, it gains a kind of intelligence. It starts to see that all the different names and forms...
The ones it thought were so exclusive.
Exactly. It realizes they're all pointing to the very same single reality.
And that realization is the key. That's what makes you eligible to move up to stage 4.
That's the transition. You can now intellectually grasp the idea of God as the material cause of all creation, and so the worship of the universal form becomes possible.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now?
It means that the practice itself contains the seeds of its own expansion. You start with a very narrow focus, this personal God, which seems exclusive.
But the very act of that disciplined focus is what gives you the mental strength to see beyond it.
It is. So the thought to leave you with is this. What subtle, structured practice could you incorporate into your routine, not to limit your view, but to build the focus you need to eventually gain that much higher unifying insight?